Have you ever wondered if your guy is cheating on you? While there are many different reasons and root causes behind why men cheat, an unfaithful partner can be devastating for any relationship. If your goal is to have a healthy, successful, and long-lasting connection, being able to fully trust your partner is at the very heart of letting him into your heart. So if you suspect that he's cheating on you, it's important to look for these clear-cut warning signs of an unfaithful man. Consider this your cheat sheet. Acting out. You probably know your man backwards and forwards. You know how he acts when he's happy, when he's angry, when he's stressed, when he's tired, when he's bored, and even when he's hungry. However, one of the defining characteristics of a cheating man is that he acts out of character, and his once typical and predictable behaviors, actions, and routines start to switch. For instance, perhaps he'd always be glued to the television during football games, refusing to miss a play, but now he's off in the other room with the door closed. You may even notice subtler changes, such as when and where he charges his phone, the amount of time he spends in the bathroom, and an increased length in his commute to and from work. Since you know how your fella typically behaves in many situations and have a clear insight into the different nuances of his personality, any deviations from this norm could be a wake-up call to pay more attention.
We should kick him in the balls.
I really like the way your brain works, but I think we're going for something a little bit bigger.
Primp time. One of the major indicators of an unfaithful man is changes in his behavior, and this is even more true when it comes to his focus on his appearance. Is your man suddenly very concerned with his looks when he previously couldn't have cared less? Does he now buy designer clothing, wear pricey cologne, and place a huge emphasis on working out when this never even crossed his mind in the past? When your man suddenly becomes extremely interested in, or even obsessed with, his appearance, this personality shift out of left field can indicate that your man may be playing the field. Overcompensation. While it may seem odd, another sign of a cheating man is that he's overly complimentary of you. While this extra admiration may make you feel warm and cozy at first, too much of it should raise a red flag because it could be a diversion. When his praise for you becomes excessive and over the top, he might be attempting to throw you off the scent. This behavior may also stem from sheer guilt. One survey revealed that 66% of unfaithful men feel guilty about cheating, so by lapping you with praise, he may be trying to assuage himself. Going the distance. On the flip side, another powerful indicator that your man is cheating is that he pulls away all of a sudden. It's not surprising to find that, when men cheat, they're so busy directing their energy, attention, and focus elsewhere, they become less interested and invested in your well-being and the events in your life as a couple. If your partner is acting distant all of a sudden, it's not a far-off possibility that he may be cheating on you.
Who's that girl? It's just...
Intimacy halt. If you've noticed that your once healthy and blooming sexual relationship has become a thing of the past, this behavior can also be indicative of a cheater. In fact, it's been found that even when some men are in happy and fulfilling relationships, they still have a proclivity to cheat. With this in mind, if your once frequent and fulfilling intimate time together now occurs less often, or your partner seems rushed, distracted, and disinterested, take it to heart that this man may be off sowing his wild oats elsewhere. So if you're finding that your man is pulling away from you, he may be trying to pull one over you. Blame gaming. While it may seem surprising, a common characteristic of a cheating man is that he accuses you of cheating on him. In fact, it's been shown that people tend to accuse their accusers of what they're doing as a way to deflect blame and guilt, no matter how ridiculous it may sound. So if he starts playing the blame game and throwing accusations in your face, it could be because he's playing games behind your back. Liar, liar. One of the quintessential qualities of a man who cheats is that he lies to his partner over and over again. After all, cheating men have to cover their tracks, and that means lying about who they're with, where they are, what they're spending money on, as well as who they're calling, emailing, and texting, just to name a few. There are certain signs you can look for that can help you to decipher fact from fiction, and that means paying attention to both verbal and nonverbal cues. For example, when people are lying, they typically repeat certain words, almost as though they're reciting lines in a script, or sometimes overshare the amount of information that they provide and give way more detail and specifics than would ever be necessary. Liars also have a tendency to touch or cover their mouths when they talk, almost signaling that they're holding something back. People are also inclined to sway, fidget, and even shake nervously when they're being dishonest. It's also believed that when people lie, they tend to look to the right when they're speaking, perhaps because they know that they're in the wrong. Picking fights. Many times when a man is cheating, he looks for ways to stir up arguments, squabbles, and disagreements with his partner, and there are many reasons behind this fight-driven phenomenon. Men who cheat are often looking for ways to distract their partner and prevent them from figuring out what's really going on behind their backs. So by picking fights, men are able to divert their partner's attention to other topics in order to throw them off the scent. Petty tiffs are also a good excuse for walking out of an argument that's getting a little too close to the truth for comfort, if you catch our drift. Name swap. Another major indicator that your man is cheating on you is that he inadvertently calls you by the wrong name. For a man who's cheating on his partner, it's not uncommon that the name of the person who's the new apple of his eye ends up popping out of his mouth, sometimes at inopportune times.
Hi, Ross.
Take the Emily.
Take the Rachel. Emily.
Protesting too much. In many instances, when a man is being unfaithful, he goes out of his way to condemn and denounce the act of cheating as much as possible. In psychology, this concept is known as reaction formation, and it's when a person becomes overly obsessed with an idea, concept, or belief that's actually the complete opposite of his or her real thoughts and feelings about the issue. Privacy, please. A classic sign that a man is cheating on you is that he suddenly has a new need for privacy. You may notice that he's taking calls in the other room, clearing his browser history on the computer, as well as deleting his text and Facebook messages. This is due to the fact that when men cheat, their ability to maintain their privacy is an important part of keeping up the illusion of their innocence. The company he keeps. A man's friends can give you clear insight into his character and priorities, and while you can't control who your man is friends with, it's interesting to note that a man who cheats typically hangs out with other men who have also cheated. Research has shown that nearly 80% of men who cheat have a close friend who cheated, because great minds aren't the only ones who think alike. Unease. When it comes to men who cheat, there might be a certain type of unsettling and disconcerting feeling that these men can end up generating in their partners. Women can pick up on the fact that something is off, even without tangible proof or hard evidence. And even if it's not true, that tinge of doubt can be toxic to a relationship. So do everything in your power to unearth the truth without hurting your own integrity in the process. Thanks for watching! Click the list icon to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Plus, check out all this cool stuff we know you'll love too.